Good evening and welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news updates, debates, and my opinions. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. We're on the way to 11,100 subscribers. And if you could click like on the video, I'd be incredibly grateful. I hope you're all doing well. It's a Thursday evening, basically the weekend. The Euro starts in 25 and a half hours' time. We are here. There is a little bit of Arsenal news to talk about, though, so we can get into that. Kind of want to discuss what's happening with the striker situation. The transfer window opens tomorrow. We've not heard anything about any strikers other than Sesko, realistically, and he ain't going anywhere. So I think we need to talk about it. There are a few other little bits and pieces to talk about as well. Vivi Vlad, Pekka, Emilio Carter, Icarus, Mohammed, Junior Films, Hyper, Floki, Ethan Udall, Oslo, Guna, Leeds Gunner, Lord Ferguson of Aberdeen, what a name, Saliba, Lucas, Mateo, James Bitter, Magnus, Lukey, Tentego, Miles, King Kylo, Cherms, Hannah, El Minister, MMK, Ross Lorman, Anu Brata, and many, many more. It is good to see you all. But yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about the Havertz-Sesko thing because, so Charles, there were a couple of things I saw today, basically, that got me thinking about it. Charles Watts was speaking about Arsenal's interest in Sesko because some people have said, were we even that interested, right? Charles Watts said, I don't think the interest was over-exaggerated. Arsenal were very much in for Sesko. They put a lot of groundwork into it, and they were hoping that he would sign this summer. Everyone was waiting on Sesko's decision. Offers were ready to go, but no one was going to trigger the release clause unless they knew that he was willing to leave Leipzig. So I think there's two ways of looking at that, right? On the one hand, we were very willing to go and drop £55 million on a striker. So that would suggest we want a striker. But other people think that it was merely a market opportunity that we saw, and maybe it ends up being something that we go in for next year instead. If we were really, really set on Sesko, maybe it's something that we actually go in for next summer. And in which case, are we going to go out and buy another striker this summer to go and buy another one next summer? And look, outside of Sesko, we really haven't seen links, truthfully, to any other strikers. Now, people have said we appreciate Xerxes. We had scouts out in Portugal looking at Gyökeres towards the end of the season. Osimhen wants Arsenal. No sign that Arsenal want Osimhen. There's not really any sort of strong link to a striker at the club at the moment. And there are definitely more, there are more pressing positions that the club wants to go for. And so, look, while Sesko might have provided an option that we liked the look of, and it looked like a good opportunity, if another opportunity like that doesn't pop up, then I think there's a good chance we don't go for him. And it was Dean Jones said something interesting, which I kind of agree on. And I've used the same logic today when talking about Elise. And that is, I think, and I think a fair amount of you think, Kai Havertz is going to start next season, right? I think we all kind of assume, and I said even if we brought in a Gyökeres or whoever, I'd still start Havertz at the start of next season. And like Dean Jones said, if we all see that Havertz is starting next season as the number 9, presumably if you approach a Sesko or a Xerxes or whoever, they're going to think the same thing. And if that's the case, are they going to want to move to the club? Are they going to want to move to the club at the point of their career if they aren't guaranteed first-team football? Which I don't think either of them would be. And the answer to that potentially is no. And I used that logic today with Elise, because Chelsea seemingly are the ones that are going for Elise. They've made contact with Crystal Palace. And apparently Elise's preference is to go to Chelsea. And that's something I don't understand, because I think for the same reasons, if Elise goes to Man United, he walks into the team. Elise is the right winger at United comfortably. If he goes, apparently Newcastle are interested. If he goes to Newcastle, he walks into the team. Whereas at Chelsea, it's all a bit of a mess. Cole Palmer spent most of the season off the right. Okay, so you could move him to the middle, but Nkunku plays in the middle. They've got Madueke. They've just signed Esteval. There's a lot of players that are competing for that right wing. So if I was Elise, probably wouldn't go to Chelsea. But, maybe he wants to stay in London and all the rest of it. So I don't know. But I do think unless an opportunity that currently we can't see becomes available, I don't think we do anything. Now, that could end up being Vlahovic, by the way, because apparently Juventus potentially want to get rid of Vlahovic to do some other business. So it could be him. But I don't know. Apparently Juventus are looking at spending 40 million on Mason Greenwood. So United would be making 40 million in raw profit if that was a deal that happened, which is interesting. But Chiesa's also available. I'm not really interested in Chiesa, to be honest. If we want Sesko, wait for him, and let's get a monster winger or a midfielder. Well, I think they're the two important ones. I think the midfielder is the most important, and then with the winger, again, I've seen different opinions on this, and I don't know what your opinion is. Right? I've seen people saying that we shouldn't be going for a Bukayo Saka backup, but that we should just be going for a versatile attacker that could play across the front three. And I disagree with that. I think we should be going. My biggest issue with our squad is that we don't have anyone who even comes close to replicating what Bukayo Saka does. And that means if Bukayo Saka gets injured, okay, it'd be great. Having someone who's versatile across the front three is useful. But at the top level, I think you need to be able to replace Saka with someone that has at least some semblance of Saka's game. And if you don't do that, and the thing is, right, because people have said, well, to have someone that's even close to being good enough to be Saka's backup, you've got to go and spend like 50, 60 million. It's like, yeah, fine. But if the alternative is to find someone that can play across the front three, well, if you want someone that's good enough to play across the front three for us and can play all three positions, well, then surely that player is going to be 70, 80 million quid anyway. Kudus would have been the guy because Kudus can play across the front three and he's a like-for-like replacement for Saka, which was why I was so keen on Kudus last summer. But I don't really understand what the solution is. If you if we go and get another right-footed player, for example, another right-footed attacker, then we're back to having no one that's like-for-like, even remotely close to what Saka does. Love the deluded United fans. Now that Ten Hag's staying, they're magically signing De Ligt, Vlahovic, Kimmich, Elise, and Chiesa this summer. I saw a thing yesterday that Man United had 50 million to spend before sales. Before sales, Manchester United have 50 million to spend. So that will be greatly improved if they can sell Mason Greenwood to Juventus for 40 million. But we'll see. Seen links to Nico Williams, and he has a 50 million release clause. Good deal. Yeah, I have seen that. So, look, first of all, right, this is coming from Caught Offside, not a brilliant source. Yeah, let's just be real. Caught Offside is not a brilliant source. Arsenal are planning to make a move for Nico Williams this month after following his development for some time. Sources have told Caught Offside. Arsenal's interest in Williams, who has a 50... Well, there's contrasting numbers on his release clause. Caught Offside say he has a 50 million euro release clause. Other sources say he has a 58 million euro release clause. So actually closer to 50 million pounds. But that apparently Arsenal's interest is driven by Mikel Arteta. Nico Williams himself, however, said, I am very happy at Athletic. It is the club that has given me everything. I'm very happy in Bilbao. And that is what I have to say. I've told my representatives I do not want to know anything until the Euros is over. My desire now is only to win the Euros. So, Nico Williams, 50 million quid. Decent player. I've said previously, I'm not that hot on him personally. especially probably not for 50 million euros. Doesn't want to do anything. And this is the thing again, right? This is coming from Court Offside. It's a fairly average, well, it's not even fairly average. It's a bang average source. And Nico Williams, from his own mouth, has said he doesn't want to hear anything about anything until after the Euros. So this idea that there's going to be stuff happening now, I just don't buy into it. I don't buy into it. I've seen lots of United fans hoping for a big summer, but Ineos have to be smart. United are tight on money at the moment. I'd not really expect much from United this summer. Yeah, I don't think we expect much from them. I don't think we expect much from them this summer. Like you said, I don't think they've got the money. I think they've got to get a lot of big players off their wage bill for starters. I think one of the reasons they didn't replace Ten Hag was because of how much money it was going to cost them to actually do that. He's also not primarily left-footed, although his left foot is good. Yeah, to be fair, from what I've seen, he's pretty two-footed. But you are right. Nico Williams will be tough to buy, I think. Yeah, I mean, look. My preference is Johan Bakayoko. That's my preference. Do you reckon, does people that watch Belgium, does he actually does he start for them? I'm going to have a look. I'm going to have a look at Bakayoko. Does he regularly start for them? Because there are going to be players this summer that we are watching. There are going to be players that we are watching this summer. Yeah, so he did. Well, so it looks like he's a sub, maybe. Played 45 minutes against Montenegro and then played 25 minutes against Luxembourg. What about the previous internationals? Didn't play against England, played 64 minutes against Ireland. So he's just starting to break into the team. Thing is, I guess he's got Doku to compete with, right? And Trossard. So it's probably difficult for him. But I'll be watching him this summer. I will definitely be watching him this summer. I mean, look at him. Guy's a freak. Look at the greenery. Look at the greenery. Big fan. Big fan. And he'll be cheaper than 50 million as well. He'd 100% be cheaper than 50 million. One thing that worries me about Nico Williams is his end product. And I feel like whenever I say Nico Williams' end product concerns me, people will reference like the number of assists and stuff he's got. But if you go and look at the assists, like it's just one of those where I just feel like it's not a long-term, like those numbers aren't long-term, in my opinion. Look, we'll see, but he's young, so he can definitely get better at it. Conceição's another baller. He is a baller. He is a baller. It's just a shame his dad's a knobhead. It's just a shame. Although where's his dad managing now? Hasn't his dad moved this summer to manage somewhere else? Or am I imagining that? Bakayoko, is he a Sesko equivalent on the wing? Is he a Sesko equivalent on the wing? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that, Leeds Gunner? He left? Has he not got another job? Free agent? Yeah. No one wants him. We need goal scorers and Nico ain't it. Yeah, that's my worry. That is my worry. In fact, I may as well bring him up whilst we're talking about him. This is my worry, right? Like, he is 21 years. I mean, he turns 22 this summer. He can play off both sides. He has predominantly played off the left this season, right? So it's not even like he's a like for like. But 5 goals in 29 starts. I'm just not convinced. Look at how much less green this is. And I know he's playing in La Liga, and La Liga is much more difficult than, well, I wouldn't say much more difficult than Eredivisie, but it is more difficult. But this isn't great. And this is what I mean about the end product, right? What he actually does with the ball. Pass accuracy is not brilliant. His shooting isn't brilliant. Cross accuracy actually isn't bad. Doesn't take many touches. Like, he's a decent winger. This is it, right? He's a decent winger. A decent winger. I'm just not sure about it. I'm just not sure about it. Also, isn't Williams the one that wants an insane wage? Or am I imagining that? Am I imagining that? Or is Nico Williams someone that wants an insane wage that we spoke about previously? Pedro Neto is definitely the one, worth considering even with the injuries. Yeah, I do agree, but the injuries do worry me. The injuries do worry me. Sell Nketiah, Partey, Vieira, Nelson, get Watkins or someone like that. Keep Jesus to give Saka a rest. Buy 2 midfielders. You could do, but I don't think Villa won't need to sell Watkins. Now that Villa are selling Douglas Luiz, they won't need to sell Watkins, I don't think. Yeah, he's on 250 grand a week at Bilbao. He's already on 200 and he wants 300. I just don't think you'd be you'd be putting him on the same amount or more than Saka himself. And he's just nowhere near Saka's level. Yeah, he's already on 200. He's already on over 200 grand a week. He's obviously going to want more if he's moving to the Premier League. So he would literally be on potentially more than Bukayo Saka. I just can't do that, mate. I can't do that. I can't sanction that move, unfortunately. I can't sanction that. Speaking of sales, we've got another link for Thomas Partey moving on. Again, it's a terrible source. It's Footy Insider. Thomas Partey is closing in on a summer move to Saudi Arabia. Sources have told Football Insider. Arsenal are believed to have set an asking price of between 20 and 25 million for Partey, as a move to Saudi Pro League now looks to be on the cards. There was another thing about if he is going to go to Saudi, it's potentially going to be a new team that got promoted to the Saudi League last season that has money that could potentially go for him. Not too sure. So 20 to 25 million, I'll take it. Look, Partey's got a year left on his contract. If he doesn't go this summer, he goes for free next summer. Is Thomas Partey worth 20 million for one season where he'll probably be injured for a lot of it? No, in my opinion. Yeah, if you take 20 to 25 million for Partey, you can pretty much go and buy Fofana with that. Thoughts on Duran to Chelsea? Another one that I don't really get. Like, what are they doing? Look, from what I saw at the end of last season, Duran looked like a good prospect, but they're talking about 40 million quid for a guy who's played. I mean, what has he actually done? What has he actually done? 3 starts, 20 substitute appearances, 5 goals, no assists. Other than that one game where he came on for 11 minutes and was very, very good, like, oh, okay, that's very good. The rest of it, like, I don't get it. 40 million quid. 40 million quid for a guy who's got 5 Premier League goals. All right, he's 20 years old. He's very young. I'm sure he can develop, but why are Chelsea going for that? Like, that just feels like another Nico Jackson, right? And they've got Nico Jackson. It's like, if they're going to insist on going and spending money on a striker, surely you bring someone in that is more senior and is more reliable in front of goal. And also, if they're bringing in Elise, presumably that means Cole Palmer has to go central. Now, in my opinion, I don't even think Maresca plays with kind of a front 4, right? Because I've seen quite a few Chelsea fans saying, well, we'll play with Elise off the right, Palmer at 10, Nkunku up top, and then like Mudryk or Jackson off the left. And I'm like, so if you go and buy another striker, who's that replacing? Nkunku or Cole Palmer? And it's just, I just don't get it. And then you consider all of the Maduekes and Estevals and Sterlings and all the rest of it they've got. He plays with a 3-2-5 in possession, in formation, in possession. A 3-2-5. Yeah, but that 5 can't be built of 5 out and out attacking players though. Cole Palmer is an 8. I don't know. I don't get it. But look, they can help themselves to John Duran as far as I'm concerned. Chelsea should keep Lukaku. They've got to do something with Lukaku. Yeah, he plays inverted fullbacks and an advanced 8, presumably in Nkunku or Palmer. Maybe. Knowing Arteta, he'll go after Anthony and turn him into prime Salah. No, listen. I back Arteta to do a lot of things. Anthony, apart from anything, right? Do you know one of the issues I'd have with, look, we're not going to sign Anthony. Let's just make that clear. But one of the issues I'd have with signing Anthony, outside of the fact that he is utterly fucking shit, is that he's just an arsehole as well. Like, he's just, and not even like an arsehole like Bruno G is. Like, Anthony's just makes my skin crawl. I think we can actually sacrifice a bit of defensive presence in the midfield, as our defense will still be so good if it means it fixes our progression and increases the speed of our breaks. Yeah, but I think part of the reason... Are you talking about Arsenal here? If you talk about Arsenal, I think that's one of the reasons our defense was so good, though, was that defensive stability in midfield. Morpay? Yeah, to be fair, Morpay's growing on me. Now that he's not doing anything to wind up Arsenal fans, he is actually quite funny. If you had to take Anthony or Richarlison, which one would you take? Probably Richarlison. Like, Richarlison can actually, if you get Richarlison in the right places, he can actually score goals. Like, we would create chances for Richarlison that he would score. What midfielder are you hoping we get this summer? I want Bruno G. Well, there were some rumours going around last night that Man City have actually triggered the 100 million release clause for Bruno G. There were some rumours going around last night. Some Newcastle accounts were talking about it. I think Mark Goldbridge might have tweeted it. So there were rumours going around last night that City have done it. I just don't think we will. I don't think we will trigger his release clause. And if we don't, I don't think we get him. So it's weird. Like, I just think because of last summer, this was what happened last summer, right? From the start of the window, we knew we were going for Declan Rice. Declan Rice was available. We knew we were going for him. And that saga in itself went on for ages. So we were talking about that. And then whilst that was happening and we were kind of distracted by that, the other things started happening. The Havertz signing happened before it. And then we had the Timber signing. Whereas I think this summer, because no one that we kind of really know about wanting is available, it's all just a bit like, what's going on? What is going on? And you can take that two ways. And some people are taking it the way of panicking, effectively, right? I've seen some Arsenal fans. I mean, I posted a bit. I think I posted a video on TikTok about the fact that we're definitely not going to go for Osimhen. And an Arsenal fan commented, being like, oh, I'm really worried that we're not signing anyone this summer. It's like the transfer window hasn't even opened yet. You know, we've got over 2 months of transfer window. It hasn't even opened yet. And there's nothing that Arsenal have done in the last 3-4 years that suggests that we would suddenly take our foot off the gas this summer and not really do anything. Like, we know that there are problems that exist. The good thing is, we don't dramatically need to improve our starting 11. You know, there's not really a position in our starting 11 that you think we really need to improve. What we need to do is improve the whole level of the squad. And I do think that is easier to do. And I do think you can do that more under the radar. Sorry. I think you can do that more under the radar instead of going for a massive marquee signing like Declan Rice again. With the striker market being so inflated, 65 million for Havertz looks like a masterclass signing. Well, that's the thing, right? If you actually think about it, if you think about, you know, Sesko being 55 million or John Duran being 40 million, you know, 65 million for Havertz. I'm not going to call it a bargain, but I don't think it was bad value. Did you see the Dortmund manager left? I did, yeah. I don't really know what happened there, to be honest. Like, apparently he had a massive bust-up with Mats Hummels before the Champions League final. Apparently before the Champions League final, those two had a massive bust-up. Mats Hummels said he wouldn't stay at Dortmund if the manager stayed. So I don't know if that's a case of player power or what, but yeah, he put in a request to terminate the contract. So it's an interesting one. We must get a Xhaka replacement. Yeah, I actually think the way that the squad's gone, it doesn't need to be a Xhaka replacement. I think the way that we now play, especially if we start playing with Timber at left back, I don't think it's necessarily it's that area of the field that we need to sign someone. I don't think they need to be like Granit Xhaka. But excuse me. That said, the options aren't brilliant. The options that are good are really expensive. If you talk about Bruno G or you talk about João Neves, and then the next set of options down, a lot of them I just don't think are quite good enough. Once you get down to the Onanas and kind of that level of player, Frankie De Jong still injured. Kimmich and Goretzka both apparently going to be available this summer. Seems like Rice is the Xhaka replacement. Yeah, well, that's the alternative, right? Potentially, it's just Declan Rice. Arsenal's worst signing since November. Arsenal's worst signing since 2021 is probably Tavares or Sambi. Everyone else has been amazing. I trust Arteta and Edu. Yeah, pretty much. I think some people would probably throw Fabio Vieira in there just because Fabio Vieira cost, a decent chunk, and we've not really seen that much from him yet. But would you bring Ruben Neves back to the Prem? Nah. I don't really like the mentality. The fact that he went out to Saudi in the first place, I just don't really like that mentality. Like, he could have forced a move to a big Premier League club if he'd really wanted to. We go for Douglas Luiz or Fofana. I mean, yeah, technically the Douglas Luiz thing hasn't gone through yet, so I suppose it's still an option, but Kai is not a 9. Let's just understand that. He might be a decent striker for a top 4 club, but not for a league winning or UCL final club. The numbers at the end of the season would suggest that he is capable of doing it at a level that would win you a league. The numbers that he put in as a 9 in the second half of the season, if you spread that out over the course of a full season, those numbers would be in the elite category of number 9. You'd be looking at 25 goals and 25 goals and 10 assists if you spread that out over a season. 25 goals and 10 assists in that Arsenal team is good enough to win the league. So, how old's Cozy Dubry? 18, I think. Is he 18 or has he turned 19 yet? No, he's 19. Yeah, okay, yeah. He turned 19 a couple of weeks ago. Just turned 19. Arsenal need to buy Sancho. Do you know what, right? Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if we did. I don't think we should buy Jadon Sancho, but it wouldn't surprise me if we did. Because Ten Hag is staying, which means Sancho isn't staying, in my opinion. Ineos could do with raising money, and it could be another thing that Arteta looks at and thinks that's value in the market. It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise. Like I said, probably wouldn't be something I would do, but it wouldn't surprise me. I thought we were linked with Rashford, or was that bullshit? We weren't really linked to him. There was like speculation about it. We weren't really linked to him. Arsenal appreciate Rashford as a player, but why do you guys suck off Arteta when Arsenal haven't won a single cup since 2020, over 4 years ago? Because we can see the progress that we're making. And if you judge, if you think that because Ten Hag, for example, won a Carabao Cup and an FA Cup, but has clearly taken the squad backwards, if you think that that's better, then fair enough. But the rest of us are a little bit more switched on than that. Crystal Palace's sponsor. Yeah, Crystal Palace's sponsors are madness. Absolute madness. Sancho for 40 million isn't bad. Well, that's the thing. I do feel like Sancho for 40 million, they might look at it as value in the market. They might look at it as value in the market. Never heard of the Palace sponsor? Palace hadn't heard of the Palace sponsor. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Apart from anything, one thing I didn't even mention in that video is that gambling is illegal in Vietnam anyway. So how there's a Vietnamese gambling company in a country where gambling is banned, like, the whole thing's insane. Maybe because Arteta's shown he's an elite manager, maybe learn how football works. Leon's getting cooked. Leon's getting absolutely cooked by Floki. You'll have to see it. Do you think Netherlands will now do worse in the Euros with their injuries? Have they had more? I saw someone say, did someone say Xerxes been called up? Did someone say Xerxes been called up? Who's that for? Brobby? I did see that Brobby went off injured during training or something. Oh yeah, he's been called up. When you, oh yeah, he posted when you have to leave Disney for the Euros. Is that to replace Brobby? Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah, Romano tweeted it yesterday. Maatson replaced De Jong. Xerxes been called up to replace Brian Brobby. To be honest, I actually think Xerxes is a better player. To be quite honest with you, I actually think he's a better player. There's 650 in the there's 650 people now in the Euros Fantasy League. There are 650 of you. You'll have to see it. Wait and see Jesus become Prime R9 after his surgery. He's not having surgery. He's not having surgery. I'm certain he's not having surgery. He's gone on holiday now. So I that whole thing about him having surgery, I don't think it's true. I don't think it's true. He's already gone on holiday. He's not had surgery. If he was going to have surgery this summer, he'd have done it and then gone on holiday. How to join the league? If you go over to my Twitter and just scroll back to yesterday, I tweeted a link out to the league, so you can just join it. I tried to join the league and it won't work. Are you trying to join the right one? Are you trying to join the right one? Because Dominic, there's two different leagues. There's one for the predictions, which was the thing that was on screen during the stream yesterday, and then there's one for the Fantasy League, which is a different link and a different code, which is what I tweeted yesterday. So you might have to go back to the Twitter and find it that way. It's amazing that everyone slated Arsenal for winning the FA Cup in 2020 as a poor trophy, but United winning it suddenly it's top trophy. Always the same. Always the same. Always the same. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. All of us can see the progress that the team is making, the progress that the club is making. And if you don't think that we are in so much of a better position now to win trophies year after year, and it's like, okay, we've had a couple of seasons in a row where the domestic cups have gone badly, mainly because we've got unlucky in the draw to get Liverpool and to get Man City, right? But we are in so much of a better position to start going to be in a position where actually we start winning a trophy every year, pretty much. But people just don't want to see it. People don't want to see it. As if we'd won a Carabao Cup but finished 7th last season, it would have been a better season. It's insane. Can you look up Sancho? Yeah, I can look up Sancho. Do you know what? That's actually a good point. That's actually a good point. Thing is, do you want to look at what he did at United, or do you want to look at what? Because we can look at what he did at United. We only played 3 times for United this season. That's crazy. So we'll look up. We'll go Bundesliga. Fucking hell. I mean, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. This is Dortmund. This is Bundesliga Dortmund. He had 9 shots total in 954 minutes. So that's that's 10 and a half full games. He had 9 shots in total. To be fair, the conversion rate was decent. Scored 2 goals from 9 shots, which is decent. But this is very, very nice, apart from the accurate long balls. But he probably wouldn't do that in an Arsenal team. So this is what we're talking about, right? In terms of what you actually want from him. Now, I think any winger in the Arsenal team needs to score goals because if you look at where our goals come from, they're always spread out a lot. But outside of that, this is superb. This is very good. This is fine. This worries me as well, to be fair. In terms of like work rate, bringing the ball, winning the ball back, it's not 40 million quid. I'm sorry, it's not 40 million quid. Don't get me wrong, right? He's a brilliant creator, but he's not the right player for Arsenal. He's not the right player for Arsenal. Give me back Ioko. Give me back Ioko. Anyway, it is time for Guess the Gooner, the game where I give you 5 clues about an ex or current Arsenal player, and you have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community. So get your fingers on your keyboards, because we are starting now. Also, yeah, I think Wilsey did just drop the link to the thing in the chat. So if you want to join the Fantasy League, it's in the chat. Clue number 1, this player joined Arsenal in 2018. Clue number 1, this player joined Arsenal in 2018. Clue number 2, he scored his one and only Arsenal goal in his second ever appearance against Qarabağ. Clue number 2, he scored his one and only Arsenal goal in his second appearance against Qarabağ. Clue number 3, he is set to make a permanent move to Lazio this summer. Clue number 3, he is set to make a permanent move to Lazio this summer. Clue number 4, he made 8 appearances for France. Clue number 4, he made 8 appearances for France. And clue number 5, he moved from Arsenal to Marseille. Clue number 5, he moved from Arsenal to Marseille. There we go. Right, let's really try and avoid. Let's really try to avoid getting VAR checked here. I'm taking this seriously. I'm taking this seriously today. We're not going to VAR check today. No way. No way. Okay. I reckon I've avoided getting. Where's the winner? Here we go. There we go. The winner is William A. It is Guendouzi, and William A is the winner. If I still got that wrong, God knows. Francisco Oliveira was second. Jakob was third. Sportcat was fourth, and James Bidder was fifth. Please tell me I got that. Please. Yes. Yes. Vamos. I got it. VAR. Goal given to William A. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. If he had a better attitude, he could have been class for us. He was decent. I don't think like, the project now has probably moved on from him anyway. I mean, you could argue he'd have developed with the team anyway, but right now, every club and fans of those clubs would 100% take Arteta as their manager, except maybe Madrid. Literally, do you know the amount of times that you see things where clubs are looking at Arsenal as the way to do things? I saw today, Ineos at Man United, they want to start bringing in younger players. Again, they've used Arsenal as the thing to look at. Go for younger players that haven't, it's... Everyone wants to everyone wants to do what Arsenal are doing. Simple as that. Simple as that. He had a lot of potential, but wasted it with immaturity. Yeah, I agree. But he's still immature now. That's the thing. He's still immature now, which is why I just don't think he'd have ever made it. Maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, it's time for Guess the Non-Gooner. I'm going to give you the entire career path of a player who does not and has not played for Arsenal, and you have to guess who that player is in the chat. First person to get it right wins the immense pride and respect of the Rory Talks Football community, but not as much respect as William A currently has. This player started their career at the Admira Wacker. They started their career at Admira Wacker. They went to Rapid Vienna. They went to Leipzig. They went on loan to Salzburg. They then moved permanently from Leipzig to Bayern Munich. They went on loan to Manchester United. And then they moved permanently from Bayern Munich to Dortmund. So Admira Wacker, Rapid Vienna, RB Leipzig, on loan to RB Salzburg, then permanently from Leipzig to Bayern. When they were at Bayern, they went on loan to Man United, and then they've moved permanently to Borussia Dortmund. Who is the player? By the way, I will be live on Twitch again this evening. Last night, people in the chat just broke out into their own game of Guess the Non-Gooner. So if you enjoy Guess the Non-Gooner and you want to get involved, then the Twitch chat is where that goes down in the evening. But there you go. Right, who got it first? It was Fred. Fred got it first with Marcel Sabitzer. Just double check that no one got it before that, but I am pretty sure it was him. It was indeed. Congratulations to Fred. Oscar was second. Dominic Riego was third with Sanitizer, but I'll give it to you. Vivi Vlad was fourth. And Francisco Oliveira was fifth. So there you go. Congratulations. Ah, fuck. We're getting VAR'd. Shit. Who won? Tentego won? Shit. Who did I say won? Wait. I'm so confused. Oh, no, I said Fred won it, right? Where's Tentego's message? He said Sabotza. But you are right. Tentego won it. Fred, I'm sorry. Fred, you were offside. Tentego, goal given. It's because you put Sabotza. I don't know how I missed it, to be honest. But yeah, you are right. Fucking hell. God damn it. I put so much effort into getting the first one right. Game's the game. The game's gone. Honestly. What a donkey. Do you think you'll do a Guess the Non-Gooner where maybe there's no English teams? Yeah, probably. Refereeing standards down the drain. Absolutely down the drain. What can you do? Look, that is going to be the end of the stream. Oh, by the way, live on Tifo tomorrow night for the watch along of Germany versus Scotland. If you are someone that uses Tifo, or even if you're not, but if you are someone that uses Tifo normally, Tifo is rapidly improving. Even if you go over there and look at it now, you'll be able to see, like, if you click on my watch along and go to the waiting room for the watch along tomorrow, it just looks more aesthetically pleasing. There are some huge changes coming out over the summer. I had a call yesterday with Ali from Tifo. The whole platform this summer, I am so excited for it. But we're live on there tomorrow evening. I don't know if I should be live on here as well as normal. And then we'll be live on Twitch tonight and tomorrow. So all the live streams. But until then, if you could like before you jump off, subscribe if you're new. Enjoy your evening. And I'll catch you all tonight or tomorrow. Goodbye.